So, we have finally reached a point in game that I've been wanting to get Shinji to now for the last 6 months. Ever since Shadowbringers first launched and we were introduced to the various people who could get us to where we needed to ultimately go, because without certain people like Giat, Tainer, or Serig, we could not have seen the final story of Shadowbringers and not defeated Emmett Selk in the process. But now that we have been able to successfully clear all 4 of the Cardinal Virtues associated with them, we can now finally get Shinji an opportunity he's been waiting for some time. The opportunity to take on the bonus quests associated with the Cardinal Virtues. The man to do it for us and get us on our way is here in the Pendants. Glynard the bartender will lead us out on our way. So let's go ahead and speak with him to take on our level 80 bonus quest for the Cardinal Virtues entitled Shadow Walk With Me. Glynard is overjoyed to welcome the conquering hero's return. Hello there. Well, if it isn't the great hunter himself. Yeah. I guess word gets around. As if you don't know, all 4 of the Cardinal Virtues lay low, all with your help. You're the talk of the stairs, Shinji. When the night returned to Lakeland, we knew in our hearts that change was on the horizon, but never did I dare hope that you might help rid us of those terrible fiends. You've surpassed my wildest expectations. He's like, oh, it was nothing. Not mine, Glynard. When I first laid eyes on him, I had an inkling that he was the hero we'd been waiting to come along. Is that so there, Scylla? Easy to claim after the fact. If you'll indulge me though, I would love to hear you tell how it all played out. The haunting of the virtues, that is. Yeah, and Shinji's like, yeah, okay, we can regale you with our exploits. Yes, as Glynard is taking it all in. My lord, there's so much more to it than I realized. And there I thought you only had to track down the bloody things. God still, the things you learned about the Warriors of Light, so many secrets and details lost over time. And for all their hard work and sacrifice they somehow brought about the flood. Can't say I understand it at all, but a bloody tragedy it is. We shall gather the others and toast their memories. Heroes of El, brave and true to be remembered forevermore. Now, I'll thank you not to let your bleeding heart drive you to offer up a fortnight's stock of spirits. Attend to your other customers and let me speak with the hero of here and now. And he's like, oh, alright. Whatever will I do without your good sense and wisdom? Very well, I'll leave you to entertain him, but don't think we won't be having that drink someday. I guess there, Glynard. Yeah. And so away he goes. Shinji, I must thank you for sharing with us such incredible tales. 'Tis only right that I repay you in kind. And how so? With the ending, that is. With the story of the true villain who towers above the virtues, the devil more deserving of death than any that yet lingers in this world. If your curiosity has been piqued, then meet me atop the balcony overlooking the crystalline mean. I'll be waiting there until you do. Alright then. And so I guess we will have a talking with her there. And so off to the crystalline mean we go. Wait a minute. I just realized my sound effects are off. Hold on. Okay, for some reason it feels like my sound effects are turned off. Or maybe it's just the music is so overpowering. But anyway, up the stairs we go. Yeah, here's Scylla. Hello again.
You came as I knew you would. Never met a mystery you could leave well enough alone. Or a demon that you could let live, am I right? And this demon is undeniably deserving of death. Make no mistake. To cut them down would be just and proper. The act of a goodly person, and that is just what you are, I can see that.
Yeah.
No need to grow impatient or be offended, my friend. But before you pass judgment on this villain, you need first understand their part in everything. Who they were to the fallen warriors of light, for instance. Of course, right about now you must be wondering how I know what I know. What a tavern wench of all people has got to do with any of this? Let me tell you then. I am the one who brought together the Virtue Hunters. I am the one who marked you as a potential ally to them and bade you join them in their quests. I alone knew what had to be done, and what sort of sinner would be needed to see this tale of tragedy and betrayal brought to an end. But come, we have many moons ahead of us still. To Calusia and the Courteous Crook. I will go on ahead and wait for you there.
You mean it doesn't just end here? Alright then, off to Calusia. So yeah, we gotta go out that way. So let's go ahead and find Scylla there. Let's fly on this misty night, or rather misty morning, rather, in Calusia. Yeah, it's night here where I live, of course. Here we are. Yeah, Scylla just in something a little more casual now, that she's not on duty. Hey there, Elizabeth. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us.
You are accustomed to life on the road, I see, as am I. Do you recognize this place? I thought you might. Here is where it began, where Albert first met Lammet. Still young and lacking in experience, but possessed of so much potential. He was in the making, even then the keen-eyed could see. They would only fulfill that promise much later though, after joining with the other dear companions Brandon and Renda Ray.
And then sometime later.
And one other, an elven woman, not half bad with a sword. Ah, but perhaps you are already asking the question who? There were 5 warriors of light in all, but she would make 6. Indeed, after adding in Neilbert, there does seem to be one too many, but believe me when I say that there was indeed a 6th adventurer lost to history, and her name was Silva.
Yeah, she did pop up in cameos from time to time in flashbacks.
Though I doubt I need convince you of this truth. When you walked in the Virtues' memories, you saw her time and time again, did you not?
Yes, we did.
Then you saw the true villain, the traitor responsible for all their woes. Let us continue the story elsewhere, to Amarang and the Fields of Amber.
Yeah, not gonna tell us more here. We gotta fly out to Amarang. Alright. You can hear how tranquil the music is for Calusia these days. Yeah, so much changes when you're not having to deal with perpetual light. And so away we go. Close to the end at Journey's Head, but not that close. Hello again, Scylla.
You saw the true villain's face in their memories, and I told you her name in Clusia. But what were her crimes, you ask? Hearken to my tale and you will learn. Silver had joined the others before they first met Neilbert. After the party of 5 came to this place, they took on a commission to slay a powerful beast that had taken up residence in the mines.
And so,
said beast was believed to be the instigator of ever more terrible tremors, and so time was of the essence. But during their hurried search, they crossed paths with their future companion, then a competitor aiming to usurp their prize. After another tremor triggered by the beast trapped them all underground, they had no choice but to work together to lay it low. But to their dismay, even after its death, the earth continued to shudder violently. As the adventurers looked to each other in confusion, Neilbert strode towards the beast's body and grabbed hold of a curious stone. A stone brimming with untold ether that he had sought out that he might harness its potential to rescue a loved one lost to the rifts.
And so...
But so powerful was the stone that it warped the flow of the life stream. Its very existence was a threat, and so when faced with the choice between one life and countless others, Neilbert wept and shattered the stone. He had held his comrade's salvation in his hand and cast it aside for the greater good. For his sacrifice he was judged a hero, and in that instant a warrior of light was born. In life, Neilbert was a pragmatic figure whose wisdom and sagacity were admired by all. Little wonder that in death he would retain his virtue.
It's like, we don't seem convinced.
But as Neilbert mourned the friend he forever lost, the betrayer Silver looked on in silent contentment, for they had taken the first step on their path towards becoming heroes brave and true. His sacrifice had sparked the transformation, so was fuel for the ritual to come. What ritual, you may wonder? Fear not, all will become clear in time. Come with me to Raktika, to the city of swamps. We must retrace the steps as they were taken to understand the depth of her treachery.
And so she'll take her bow, take her leave, and we'll have to hook up with her once again over in Raktika this time. And hopefully this time we will not be interrupted by repeated phone calls. Yeah, that actually was someone that I know. I was just not expecting them to call me tonight. And so now we're in Raktika. Time to make our way towards the city of swamps. Yeah, anyone familiar with my Let's Play this game will know that the Cardinal Virtue that Shinji was hunting initially, their climax took place here. Alright, it's time to hear more from Scylla. And get the most loved music in Shadowbringers.
This place too is familiar to you, no? From days recent and long since past. After the event in Amarang, Albert and his comrades grew in fame, spurring others to entreat their aid. The adventurers sought out greater and greater challenges, and in pursuit of another, they came to Raktika.
And that's where they met this young lady.
While here, the hunter Render Ray learned that the notorious mark, Balam Quits, was near, and so, under cover of darkness, she slipped away from the others to slay the beast by herself. Like Neilbert before, of course, you already know what her motive was. Balam Quits had robbed her of her fellow hunters. Only vengeance would redress the balance. Moreover, she would not dare risk the lives of her new comrades. So terrified was she of the mere possibility that she might have to relive that terrible day. and so she faced Bottom Quits alone, and would have surely died for it, had Albert and the others not arrived in time to help.
And good thing they did.
Like Nilbert before, of course, you already know what happened next. For her love, her conviction, and her resolve was she chosen by Heidelin. And from that day forward, Renda Ray swore never again to betray her comrades' trust, to share with them the triumphs and the tragedies, to relinquish the freedom she had once held in the highest. The bravest, most courageous hunter that ever was. That moment would define what she became in life and in death.
Yeah, like what?
Her sacrifice would hasten the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. The betrayer Silver looked on, yet more satisfied. They were oblivious to her machinations, unaware that they were dancing to her tune. Their journeys continued, and so must ours, to Ilmeg and Liagia.
Like, yeah, why is the music getting ominous? Yeah, sadly, we can't listen to this forever. We have to keep listening to what Miss Scylla is telling us. And so, off to Lita Laran. And now, from there, we'll fly to Liagia, home of Titania. Yeah, this of course was where we had our second Light Warden battle, and the first 8-player trial. Yeah, maybe overcast, but we can see that the wings of Feoul as Titania are glowing very brightly, and standing out amongst the clouds. Yeah, we would pay her a visit, but we're a bit preoccupied. We're only just here to come and hear what Scylla has to say next. Hello again. Yeah, checking out all that stained glass. As we stand in front of the fountains.
As beautiful now as it was then. You saw it too, would you not agree? With the death of Balaam Quits, the legend of Albert and his comrades had grown larger than ever. Thus emboldened, they came to the kingdom of Vobert. Vobert had long been troubled by what some had dubbed a magical plague. Innocents found transformed into misshapen fiends that the kingdom's knights had no choice but to put down ere the contagion spread.
And so,
Brandon had been one such knight. In his youth he had served the Princess Soldia faithfully, only to be cast out for a single mistake. Thus did he take to the road where he met Albert and the others. Having grown stronger and wiser and more respected, Brandon felt it was time to return and redeem himself. And with the aid of his comrades, he did just that. Tadric, the court mage, was unmasked as the mastermind of Vobert's misery, and by disgraced knight's blade, he was brought to justice.
yeah, it wasn't a great victory though, it was more Pyrrhic.
But with his dying breath, Tadric cursed the Princess Soldia, sentencing her to a fate worse than death. At her behest did he raise up his blade, and for the sake of the kingdom, strike down his liege lady. With that single stroke he forever changed, though nearly not in the way that was necessary. He stood at the precipice and almost forsook his compassion for unflinching judgment, but mercifully turned aside at the last. Thus did he find and embrace true justice, that which weighs law and heart together and strives for the greater good. 'Tis a long, difficult road from which many stray, settling for simpler moralities, but I would expect no less of the man who became the Kaiosine. His sacrifice would strengthen the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. As her companions grew ever more powerful, so too did the betrayer Silva. Bit by bit, they brought her closer to her goal. But it was not yet finished. To Calusia they returned, and so must we. Tomra and the next chapter of our tale awaits.
Yeah, gotta go now to the Dwarven domain. And so now, Calusia Redux as we head to Tomra. And so we've arrived, where the music is nice and tranquil, and we get basically the Lita Laran music. Hey there, Scylla. So what are you going to tell me about next, as we stand at the base of a giant dwarf statue?
Slowly but surely the adventurers were fulfilling the potential. Word of their deeds in Vobert spread like wildfire, and the legend grew ever larger. But for all their success, the fledgling heroes would be forced to endure more hardship and welcome more sacrifice.
And so,
they pressed deeper into the depths of Arctica, towards ancient Ronka. 'Twas there that the dwarf Lamet came to a crossroads, for in claiming the magic she desperately desired, she would be forced to renounce something equally precious. Dwarves are a reclusive lot, wont to withdraw from the outside world that their many traditions might be preserved in isolation. When the Stoneblight began to spread, they chose to lock away the afflicted and refused to seek outside help.
but
Lamet would not abide this. She vowed to save her ailing kin, her sister among them, even if it meant violating dwarven law. With her newfound power she returned and cured the sick, and for this she was banished by the Council of Elders. This came as no surprise, for she had made her peace with it long before. When she stood in that ancient ruin and called upon forgotten guardians to grant her forbidden knowledge, she knew then what the price would be. She had weighed her traditions and identity against the lives of those she loved and made her choice, though it pained her terribly and in ways only a dwarf could understand. And Heidelin, it would seem.
yeah, as the rain now sets in.
Through hardship and sacrifice was a new warrior of light forged, a healer that knew more than any the value of a life, and would do anything to see it preserved, even in death. Her sacrifice would nearly complete the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. Very soon then. Very soon. For Albert and his comrades had stumbled upon evidence of the larger design, threads linking together the disparate troubles of the realm. A name spoken only in whispers, the Shadowkeeper, a singular force sowing chaos and discord throughout Norvrant to an unknown end. If the Warriors of Light truly wished to save their world, then they would need to confront this villain amongst villains. And at the end of their exhaustive search, at the end of their struggle, who do you think they found waiting to welcome them with open arms?
Yeah, we're looking pretty intense here.
The answer to that awaits us in Lakeland, our final destination. The villain yet walks among us, Shinji, unknown and unpunished. Go on ahead and wait for me at Laxton Loft. There are preparations to which I must first attend.
Yeah, if there are preparations involved, then we may also have to take up arms, because, yeah, If they're still out there, we're gonna have to deal with it! Let's head off to Laxton Loft, as the sun is setting here in Lakeland. Yeah, perhaps it's appropriate that the sun is setting right now. Yeah, we got to come to Laxton Loft where we first encountered Reen in her original Memphilia form, as well as the army of the villains in the city of... oh, there it is. In the city of Yulmore. So as the sun goes down, let's see if we can help out Scylla to find out where Silva is. Oh, you're welcome, Elizabeth. Yeah, so, Scylla, you're all dressed for battle? Maybe not the way we thought. Yeah, because now the echo kicks in. It's like, what's going on here? Damn you, Silva! We were comrades in arms! Friends! That we were and that we are. Everything I said, everything I felt, it was all true. You mean the world to me. So why are you betraying them? You're the bloody Shadow Keeper! What the hell was this for? Black clouds. For you! For every one of you! To forge you into heroes worthy of her blessing, that she might choose you as her champions. A ruthless mage consumed by the pursuit of power, to save his friend no matter the cost, by his sacrifice a warrior born. A mournful hunter scarred by tragedy resolved never again to trust in others, by her sacrifice a warrior born. A disgraced knight who yearned to steal his heart in justice's name, by his sacrifice a warrior born. Yeah, he's like, I'm not proud of this. A troubled healer torn between tradition and love, by her sacrifice a warrior born. Yeah, we got a lot of sad faces here. And their leader, an adventurer with a heart overflowing with love for his dearest comrades, who must now bring his axe to bear against his own. By his sacrifice, a warrior born! I am the villain you seek, the keeper of shadows from a world shrouded in dark. By our struggle will this world be shattered and its soul saved. And Arbert naturally is going to lose it. Yeah, Silva! Yeah, it was me all along. Yeah. But yeah, now that I know who you actually are... Saw it all, did you? I thought you might. Mother's gift has a knack for showing us exactly what we need to see, if not what we want to or when. They knew me as Silva, but my real name? It doesn't matter. Like you, I am not of this world. I crossed the rift and came to the first.
My home, the 13th, fell to dark in a calamity that mirrored the one which nearly claimed this world. I was one of several heroes who failed to save it.
Yeah, and then hero turned villain. And guess who's also with her?
The boy Unoko High, I have glimpsed him in your memories. He was a friend.
Who you might remember from the Warrior Triad back over in Heaven's Ward.
Like him, I heeded the words of the Asians, and that I might readjust the balance, I chose to come here and hasten a rejoining of worlds.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's decided to cast their lot with the devil.
A shard subsumed by dark demands a mirror of blinding light. Primordial forces will strive to achieve equilibrium. But there was a solution. A single solution, I believed. Were floodlight to consume this shard in its entirety, it would be of no use. The Asians made it clear that it must be brought to the brink, but no further. The task was difficult, but the plan simple. Souls predisposed to lights, fledgling heroes in the making. I would bring together Albert and his comrades and groom them for a higher purpose.
And thus,
I would play the part of comrade and guide their course, all the while labouring in secret to pit stronger and stronger enemies against them, until finally, once they were warriors of light brave and true, I will reveal myself as a warrior of darkness and extinguish their radiance forever. Thus would this world be primed for a rejoining and the source for a calamity. The Asians who called themselves Mitron and Logrif were confident it would succeed, and indeed Albert and the others rose to the occasion as I knew they would.
And yet,
it was not to be. I had misjudged Albert. His comrades before him had made their sacrifices in turn, and as their mirror I had grown stronger for it. Had he but embraced his role and struck me down, victory would have been mine. But Albert, dear Albert, would not forsake his heart. In the end, he chose mercy. He chose love, and I was undone.
yeah, which is why somehow you're still alive. Still causing mischief.
The rest you know. He sought out Mitron and Logrif and granted them what he refused me. They accomplished everything they set out to achieve. And then the flood came and washed it away. In the wake of my betrayal, I would look on from them from the shadows and reflect on my many sins as all fell to ruin. Denied death then and now, and perhaps ever after, as a fragment of my essence endures. But then, one day years ago, my fallen comrades rose again as the Cardinal Virtues. It coincided with the arrival of the first Scions, I later realized, a defense against the forces being marshaled to undo my failure. I can but assume the Asians planted the idea in Volthry's head. They were his creations after all, and with their graves in Nemoran territory, it was doubtless a simple matter to have their bodies exhumed and prepared. Who am I to speak, you may think, when I say this, but when I saw these abominations he had wrought in their image, I was filled with such despair, such anger. I cannot unwrite the past. My soul is stained with blackest sin, and I will not pretend that it can ever be otherwise. But this act, this I could not ignore. If the Asians were going to such lengths, then surely others would cross the rift in due time. And so I hatched a plan. I would assume the guise of Scylla and take her up as her take up residence in the Crystarium, where I would take measures to bring together the most ambitious of adventurers, individuals driven by more than mere coin, virtue hunters. That way, when the enemy the Asians feared more than any came to the first, the stage would be set. They would join in the hunter's quest, and together unmake Volthry's simulacra and lay their souls to rest once more. And so you did, Shinji. The virtues are no more, but the one ultimately responsible for their creation, the devil who set them on their doomed path, lingers still. You know all there is to know the heroes who saved this world. The truth I kept hidden in the shadows is yours, and there are no more secrets to share. And so now, I ask you to grant me that which Albert could not. Death.
Like, you still have a duty to others, or say nothing. Yeah. Are we really gonna say that she still has a duty to others? Yeah. I'm like, are you sure you want to die? Even after everything you've done? Yeah, we're staring you down.
When you look at me that way, you remind me of Albert. He never did let me take the easy way out. I guess suicide is out of the question too? How can you stand there and say I deserve to live? Knowing everything I did, the lives I destroyed, the chaos I wrought, the wardens pale in comparison. Surely there is no greater villain than the Shadow Keeper?
Which is why you must live to atone for your deeds, or death is no comfort for the living. Yeah, if you're not being allowed to die normally, then you need to do atonement.
I should have expected a hero would say something like that. How does one even seek atonement? 'Tis an undiscovered country with no charts or stars to guide. How will I even know when I find it?
Yeah, I guess you'll have to figure that out on your own.
Perhaps I may yet find purpose in preserving my comrade's legacy, in helping others to understand the sacrifices that made them true heroes. For now, I shall return to the Crystarium and continue to assist Leonard, while spreading the forgotten tales of the Warriors of Light. You would have been good friends, you and Albert, in another life. Maybe you and I as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No blood need be shed this day. Let's on back to the Crystarium. Yeah, so we can put this away. And back to the pendants. Yeah, so there she is back at the bar again. And dressed in her bartender's outfit, I guess.
I tell you, I'm not at all accustomed to wearing armor any longer. Simply moving about in it is enough to tax my strength. And fighting? Oh, any one of Captain Lena's recruits could probably put me flat on my back. Fortunately, I needn't rely on my sword to spread the truth of my fallen comrades' deeds. Only words and the passage of time will see their legacy redeemed in the eyes of the people. Thank you for accompanying me on my journey of remembrance, Shinji. May your deeds be ever remembered and celebrated, as all heroes deserve.
And so for taking this journey to find out who the Puppetmaster was for the exploits of the Warriors of Light, we get 2,579 gil, as well as the achievement, Tales to be Told, which also comes with a brand new title, which we believe will be very appropriate for Shinji. Living Memory. And so now that he's been given this, let's go ahead and put that on his profile. Because now, that's exactly what he is. He, as the Warrior of Light / Darkness for Shadowbringers, is the one who knows the truth about the outcome of the first and the people responsible for it. He's seen it all, he's done it all, with the help of his predecessors, of course. And now that he knows all there is to know, it's like, now, what are we gonna do for him next? Well, we'll just keep on forging him as best we can to take on the story ahead, as well as the challenges from Eden, as well as the Nier Automata, Yorha Apocalypse raid. So yeah, even though he has achieved all there is to it for himself, there's still a lot more for him yet to do.